Hey guys, how's it going? This is Crypto Coin Run. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. What a crazy night. We had Ethereum Classic run like a madman, and Ethereum, the fork version of Ethereum, ended up dumping. And we also have Bitcoin dumping as well. There's some really strange things happening in the market over the last couple of days. So I want to go over those things with you. Uh, we'll start with Bitcoin. You know, I wrote an article on let's see. I gotta find this article. There it is. This was on Sunday. Bitcoin price analysis, to fork or not to fork. I was calling for like a bull pennant to form here, because it broke the bear pennant that it formed. It was a delayed response, but it broke it finally. I think it's just going to consolidate in this range. That's probably not going to happen anymore. It doesn't look so pretty for BTC. I mean, I still like it long, but this is good area to accumulate in, I think. But I'm very uncertain about it, and that's just a trade that I won't take when now I'm uncertain about it. I did call for accumulation at about the $600 range, which is about 4,000 CNY. So we'll see what happens. It's really iffy right now. Now that I chart this a little bit further, I see a potential pattern like this, which would mean Bitcoin will come down to about 550 US dollar, 3,700 CNY, and maybe it'll break out from there. So it looks like we have a long pattern here. It's going to take a long time for Bitcoin to find its way. Right now, it's still reacting to this big, massive pump. Let me take out all this stuff here. This big, massive pump, we're still reacting to it. It's going to take time. It's going to take another freaking 5 months probably, or who knows, before it breaks out again. So we just have to be patient. I think it's a good season now for all alternative currencies or alternative cryptocurrencies. I think we're going to see some nice action there, which we're already seeing with Ethereum Classic and Ethereum. I mean, this is just ridiculous. So I'm actually not even short this. I just don't even want to trade it right now. I'm still holding all my Bitcoin though. I'm not taking it anywhere. I mean, look at this beautiful chart. Hopefully, on the fundamental side, the hash rate, dilemma that's going on right now, which is dropping pretty quickly, will be fixed, where the miners will come to consensus with the user base and the traders of Bitcoin, and which I think is going to happen. It's just taking a long time, and I think Bitcoin made the Ethereum core developers and just the community in general where I said general. The community in general, the Bitcoin community, where they don't want to fork the currency, or if they're going to fork the currency, they want to make sure everybody's on the same page. There's complete consensus across the board, and they don't want to risk what they've built. So we can see what, if you rush into that, you can see what happens with Ethereum. We don't want that to happen to Bitcoin. So, if I'm just going to quickly look at this, show you what I see. We had this massive Mt. Gox rip, and then we had a huge bear market where it just pretty much sold out the entire rip, and now it pumped back up. But this key level here at 4,000 CNY, all the way down to maybe here 3,800 CNY. That's a good accumulation area if you're thinking long term, because it's going to react to this level, which it already did here on this, when it sold off and it popped. But it's going to hold that level for a while, and it's a good area for risk reward. So if what I mean by that is if Bitcoin, if you were to start entering long here down to 37 100 CNY, which is 550 CNY. If you're going to start accumulating down here, you set your stops down here, so you're not really taking much of a loss. Relative to your potential gains, your gains could be to previous highs, because that's where, if Bitcoin decides to go up further, it's going to previous highs, and it's going to retrace and make a nice cup and handle here, and just completely blow off the top. That's what I see here. It's a good area for an entry right now, and just accumulate this over the next few months. That's what I would be doing if I was trading BTC. I own a ton of BTC. I don't really need to own more. I'm making more every day by trading the alts that I'm trading right now. So that's how I see it. When I make a Bitcoin, you know, I cash out what I need to pay my bills, and I keep the rest in Bitcoin. I don't really leverage it. I probably should, or I don't really hedge it at all with gold and stuff like that. But I do have a lot of faith in this and in Bitcoin, so I'm going to keep it that way. I'm definitely a hodler. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Let's get that out of the way. Ethereum, a lot to talk about with Ethereum. This is the Ethereum classic chart, and this is the, lost it. And okay, there it is. This is the Ethereum fork chain. They should call it ETHF chart. So let me just clear everything out. There. All right. No, that's the Bitfinex chart, which looks really nice, by the way, of Ethereum Classic. So where do I start? I'd like to start by bragging. All right, if we go, you guys all got to go to Brave New Coin. I'm posting all my content there for the most part. I wrote an article on Saturday, ETH versus ETC potential parity. I saw a huge opportunity here, and you can, read over the article. It goes over my technical analysis point of view as to why I thought ETC on Saturday was going to make a huge move. I'm not going to get into all of that right now, which I will in a minute, but I thought it was going to do this. It was going to respect this channel that I thought was going to form and really just rip and break out. And whenever I do a technical analysis article, guys, just know that in my mind, I'm not only looking at the technicals, I'm looking at the fundamentals. But since this is a technical analysis article, I didn't really go over the fundamental reasoning behind my call. My call is up about 100% since Saturday, and I think it's going to go up probably about another 100% from where it's at right now. Now, I want to go over the fundamental reasoning behind my call. I tried to get this article posted on Brave New Coin, but they have like a schedule for my articles, so they didn't post it, which is fine, and I love them. They're good people. So I posted it on Medium.com, and you can also find it on my Twitter, which is @officialcoin. Oh no, it's not. It's @CryptoCoinRun. Okay, @CryptoCoinRun. It'll be in the description below. But you can also go to my Medium account, which is you can find that link on my Twitter. ETC or ETH versus ETC potential parity. I was calling for parity on my article from Saturday before this big move up, and I'm still calling for parity today. And this article I wrote was not about the technical aspects of why, the technical analysis aspects of why I thought, and this is how the article, by the way, since the article was posted, this is what's happened since. It's actually made a little bit of a move higher. But I'll go over the quick, how do I get, all right, dude. What the heck? What did I do here? Let me find that article again. Sorry, guys. Of course, my computer decides to freeze up. All right. So real quick, I still have a target of 0.01 for ETH and ETC. I am currently long from 0.025. I'm not really looking at it right now because I'm up a lot, and if my analysis fails, it fails. But I still see the huge potential. I'm going to do an updated analysis in this video, technical analysis. But to go over the fundamental reasoning, as you guys probably know, I was a stock trader for many years, and I still, trade stocks, and I kind of understand, market dynamics, and although being like mostly a technical analysis or a technical trader, I still understand the fundamental reasoning behind my trades or behind a trade, or you have to kind of understand the market mentality, I guess. It's a little bit hard to explain, but if we look at, I have two basic reasons. I compared this fork to a stock split because, you have Ethereum the Ethereum Foundation. I mean, they're still the corporation of Ethereum, right? Because it's a corporation, guys. I hate to break it to you. Just like a public corporation, when they decide to do a stock split, it's, sometimes called like a 2-for-1 split. A stock will split in half, and the value will split in half as well. But when a 2-for-1 split happens, the market is quick to react, and quickly the price of the split stock, right, is pretty much automatic. It's even. It's just diluting the amount of shares on the market, which is it's that. A stock split is a much more simple situation to analyze. With this fork, there's a lot more other, situations. You have developers on the ETH chain, you have uncertainty on the ETC chain, who's going to develop it, who's going to support it. But I looked into that a little bit further. Pretty much whatever the Ethereum Foundation decides to do to the Ethereum chain, the community can use. This is the powerful part about it. The Ethereum community can just take whatever code was written and apply it to the chain if they want, to the ETC chain if they want. So for them to say that there's no developer support for ETC, it's complete bullshit. So I feel, and this is what I think, and the market seems to be reacting that way, and it's beautiful the way it's reacting too, that by diluting the amount of Ethereum shares, ETC and ETH, doubling it up, I think that both Ethereums, right, Ethereum Classic and Ethereum Forked, should have the same value, for now at least, or, parity, should be valued the same if the market was to react to this as like a stock split. So, but after a stock split, I'll go over the definition. After a stock split, the stock price will be reduced since the number of shares outstanding has increased. In the example of a 2-for-1 split, the share price will be halved. Thus, although the number of outstanding shares and the stock price, the number of outstanding shares and the stock price change, the market capitalization will remain constant. So, if both Ethereum, or if Ethereum as a whole has a $1.2 billion market cap, that would mean that, if my thesis is correct, Ethereum Classic and Ethereum Forked should have a $600 million market cap. And if we look at the current market caps, it's pretty interesting. You have a $237 million market cap on Classic and Ethereum Forked, 837. This yesterday was just at 1.1 million, 1 billion, excuse me, and this was like at 150 or something like that. So as money leaves Ethereum, it's going into the Classic chain, and it's kind of like reaching parity on its own, which is beautiful to see. Another point in my article is miner support. Now, this is, I think, the most, I think this is the biggest point that I have. Beyond the stock split, that's just, really speculation. This is fact, okay? Miner support. There's a positive sign for ETC that I like to point out. The hash rate of ETC has skyrocketed this week, at one point reaching 800 gigahertz per second, which right now it's a lot higher since I published this article. It's at 922, pretty much 1 terahertz. It was at 1.2 terahertz at one point. So the the hash rate was just, is skyrocketing. And because of that, this shows miner support. Other than ETC being more profitable to mine at the moment, so miners are going to flee to ETC to mine it. But I believe that miners are deciding to spread their risk by mining both Ethereum chains. So what I mean by that is, if mining companies are, they're big companies now, or pools, they're big companies, and there's a lot at stake for them. They put up a lot of money to be able to mine and provide security to these chains, and in doing so, they need to see a reward. But sometimes when things are a little bit too risky, like the Ethereum chain, the fork chain is very risky to mine right now because anything can happen at any time. They're gonna, and I think that they're going to find that by spreading their risk, right, their hash power between Ethereum Classic and Ethereum fork chain, the hash power will be evened out. And just like the price of Ethereum, like the stock split where money's coming out of the Ethereum fork and going into Ethereum Classic, we're also seeing that hash power is leaving Ethereum Classic or Ethereum fork and going into Ethereum Classic at a rapid rate, which is pretty cool. And to conclude on that, if this were to be true, then the hash power will naturally even out, right? And we have seen in crypto markets, price tends to follow hash power. And there's a chart I put over here, and there's a link in this chart, or there's a link in this article to see the live performance of this chart. You can see the hash rate goes up, price goes up. Hash rate goes down, price goes down. So if miners were to support both chains and even out their hash power to the Ethereum, pretty much the Ethereum protocol, right? Then the price should even out in pretty soon. It's happening quickly. So that's my fundamental, and that's it. That's my fundamental reasoning. And when I do the technical analysis on it, it's just gorgeous. It works. See, these trades, they're not once in a lifetime trades, but they happen very rarely where your fundamentals meet your technicals, or your technicals meet your fundamentals so perfectly. It's a no-brainer trade. So that's what I saw, and that's why I posted that article, and ETC is breaking out, pretty cool. Now let's look at the technical analysis. What a beautiful chart. On Ethereum Classic, really, it's got one more zone of resistance here, and it's just a slingshot all the way up. It's going to be amazing. So, we have this channel that I kind of predicted was going to happen. It was pretty obvious. When trading, this is a good trading tip. When trading like ICOs or IPOs on the stock market or anything new that has little price data, you can kind of you have to use what tools are available for you at that present time. So unlike Ethereum, right, where it's built up all this support and resistance over the last year, it's built up all this support and resistance. So it's not an easy as a trade to take, because there's a lot of shaking out, bouncing going on, up and down, but eventually the market will take it. The market will take it where it wants to go, right? So let's look at the Ethereum Classic. So what I meant by that is like a tip. This is when I was charting, right here. This is all the data what you see on my screen. This is all the price data that I saw available to me. So as a tip for you guys, a great tool to use is the Fibonacci levels, right? There it is. And we can see that what I was looking at was, okay, look, this thing made, we have two bottoms here, which I can pinpoint with a trend line, and we have two tops here, which I can pinpoint with a trend line. This makes a channel, which, a trend channel. So I'm trying to catch a trend right now, trying to ride a wave, and that's how you would do it when you're looking for it. And we also saw that it was holding this 0.0236 fib level perfectly. It didn't get much better than how it held it. It just held it perfectly. And as soon as it hit that line, it just, like I said, there's not enough price data for traders, so traders are going to take whatever shows up on their screen. Does that make sense, guys? So if you're a trader and you did what I did here, and you pinpointed this and you saw that the price is right there, and if you were to take that long, there's no, like, if you were to risk something, you're only risking a little break. If this were to break, this would break down to here. But if it held, this thing is going to go up and probably try and test this upward trend line. So your risk reward is like nothing for freaking 200-300% gain. So that's the trade that I saw. And for me to publish an article where thousands and thousands and thousands of people are gonna view this article, where I'm calling this one in particular, where I'm calling for Ethereum Classic to go up 400% based on my technicals. I mean, I gotta give it to myself. It takes a little bit of balls because that's a bold call. But I'm just calling it how I see it. It's very simple. So what do I think is going to happen now? This thing is going to continue to rise, and I think this will break out above here, test the 0.62% fib level where there is no resistance up here. The only resistance that there'll be will be these fib levels. It'll bounce off of that, retrace, keep going higher. I do think this keeps going until at least 0.01. And that's where I'll be probably looking to sell. And I believe as that happens, Ethereum will continue to decline down to this price, down to 0.01, where we're going to meet at parity. And at that point, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I'll be exiting my trade around that time, and I'll be looking to enter another trade depending on what's available for me to trade. If we look at what's going on with Ethereum, Ethereum forked. And guys, if you guys are Ethereum lovers out there, like Ethereum fork lovers, I feel so sorry for you. When I call this Ethereum forked, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just, I'm really just calling it how it is, guys. That's it. So I think this is going lower for a couple key reasons. So for one, we have some obvious patterns here. We have a nice wedge there where it broke down. This was the Dow attack, and then since I tweeted this before, that Ethereum has entered a bear market after that, where it's going to take some time if Ethereum's ever going to go back up to where it was to get there. So it made this bear pennant, and it broke out of that bear pennant. This is exactly what I was calling for in my freaking article, which is, here, this is my trade. This is, if you guys want to short Ethereum, I think you have a great trade here. But I see a little bit more upside on Ethereum Classic. But there's pluses and minuses to both trades, which if you were to take a short on Ethereum, you kind of have easy money here because the Ethereum foundation, the whole Ethereum protocol is just screwed right now until everything is resolved, which I see more upside technically with Ethereum Classic, and a lot of fundamental aspects to it too, as you guys know. But something can come out where the DAO hacker decides to sell his bag of Ethereum Classic and dump it on everybody, and that just creates a bunch of selling pressure. But ultimately, I think that I would take two trades. I would take a Ethereum fork trade, and I would hedge that with a Ethereum Classic trade. Long Ethereum Classic, short Ethereum fork. So you're kind of gaining on both sides, and if one decides to go against you, you still have a profitable trade in another trade. So I see this going down to 0.01, 0.00 or 0.01 BTC, which is my target for ETH, and that's just because I don't see it holding this level here because it already broke it before. So it's going to test the next lower level here, and we'll see what happens there. And I think it'll hold this level and it'll consolidate, and hopefully Ethereum can recover in general, and just the Ethereum protocol itself can just thrive off of this, and you know, you have a healthy Ethereum Classic chain and a healthy Ethereum fork chain where they can coexist together and maybe find use cases for both chains. So that's what I see going on, guys. I'm crashing right now. I just lost all my energy. I've been up for a long time. I didn't sleep last night. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. In the description below, you'll find my Twitter links. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. Thanks again, guys.